Oh, whoa.
We are live.
Hey man, the future generation has spoke, has let us know, sound the trumpet. We are live, man. We are here. Reminisce Show, man, every Tuesday, man, as we carry on traditions of Sankofa, to go back to collect what we may have forgotten, in order for us to move forward, So that's what we're doing. We're here. We're blessed, intergenerational. We got the generations here, and we keeping it moving, man, keeping it building. And that's what we do. That's what we do.
Each one teach one, it takes a village to raise a child. And yes.
All day, man. That's exactly what hip hop is. It just kind of reminds me of what Jay Roby was talking about last week, like a culture takes care of its peoples, and that is something that really stuck with me. And I'm always going to be, saying it over and over again and just reminding, man, because that's what it is, man. Culture takes care of its peoples, man. So we always got to make sure that we're doing that, man. Always got to make sure that we're doing that.
Absolutely. You're so right. And, I actually bumped into him a couple days ago when I was just walking around getting groceries. So
look at that. See, come on.
It was, now. Shout out to Jay Roby again. And, we were in Kensington Market, and it was Thursday or Friday. And he was like, yo, man, it's good to see you. And we saw a whole bunch of other people. Hajil was there and Willis was there. Okay. They were just like, how do you all know each other? And Jay Roby was like, I was just on this guy's show. And Jay Roby introduced me to this brother from Mexico who dropped some jewels on me. And so shout out to that brother from Mexico. He was trying to teach me how to learn other languages faster. So peace to the, we all gotta, sometimes I'm like, especially for black people in North America, I'm like, we gotta learn more languages than English, because this ain't our tongue. We gotta.
I've been really thinking about it a lot lately, and how the English language is so limiting, and it's really like this like coded language. It's like legalese. That has been like a theme that's been coming up a lot. So we use certain words, and we use certain words thinking that they mean something, but they actually mean something else. So from like a vibration standpoint, we're like incorrect with some of our delivery. So I've been really striving to be like really intentional with like my words and how I communicate and using the correct words, to really express exactly how I feel. So, but you're right though. Like I think it's really wise to try to connect with other languages, and Toronto is the best place for that, because we literally have like the world right here at our fingertips. So, and hip hop is a great introduction, just like how you described, you know what I mean? Like met with one brother, connected to another, then all of a sudden you're building, you're adding on. And like, to me, that's very hip hop, and that's exactly what it is. Like
it was you're so right. You're so right. It was such a hip hop moment. And I was in the park in Kensington, and I was like, yo, this is community, which is what hip hop is. People coming from different backgrounds and there was a DJ, and then there was Jay Roby, this indigenous dude. And then there was like this Central South American dude. And then I saw Willis, who I know was traveling through Victoria and Vancouver. So I'm like, yo, the world is happening right now on all these different levels, and its community. So this is, it did really feel like hip hop, but it was really, really, I'm saying it because it was such a replenishing moment, because the sun was out, and I was like, yo, I haven't been in a venue and then seen like 5 different friends in over a year or two, but it's nice to get this at a park. So people were in the background playing music, and so it was good. So shout out Jay Roby, good to see you, homie. And how you doing though, Logik? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Like it's funny, like you mentioned about Kensington Market, because I was literally just coming from there. I was there with my daughter, just being out and walking around. I had to grab some shirts and make some deliveries and whatnot. But the market's always a good vibe. It's always like a centering, grounding type of energy for me. Like I know I can always go there and I'll run into somebody, and it'll just give me like that vibe and remind me of like community and what have you. You know what I mean? But yeah, other than I'm doing good. I did come across some like, unfortunate news, like a childhood friend of mine that I kind of grew up with, like in my church. And he is someone who was, fairly like prominent in the community, has done like a lot of like work with the youth, and he's worked with like Children's Aid, Toronto Community Housing, like, done basketball leagues and really empowered a lot of young people. And he passed away a couple days ago. And, so I just been really like on this like reflective, mindset, just knowing that, yo, like life, like no way, like we're just passing through, you know what I mean? Like this is we're just here for rent, and then when our time
Yeah.
comes, our time comes. But like in between, it's really just about like, just being intentional and, like also enjoy the ride too. But, if we can make a positive impact, then like we should, strive to intentionally do that. You know what I mean? Like leave the world a little bit better than what it was before we came, kind of vibe, and I think like we all strive to do that. Like our energy, like, you're always talking about love and connection and all that. And I think that's really what it is. So I'm just really present to that kind of energy and you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just like, has me in a reflective mode, but I still, feel inspired and just inspired by his life and his legacy that he left with us, and the
Yo,
hearts that he touched. Yeah.
that's peace. That's beautiful, yo. Peace to his memory. And
Yeah.
like, I really like to say that, on a certain level, none of us really die, and
Yeah.
we are carried on by the people who remember us, and he's
100.
alive right now in our words. I don't
Indeed.
know him, but you're telling me about
Indeed.
him, so it's like I just met him, and it's like
Indeed. Indeed.
we keep each other alive in each other's hearts, and if we
100,
can't
man.
be in each other's lives, so as
Right.
all our ancestors are still with us, and
Mhm.
we
That's
just
it, man.
as we
Peace.
reminisce and reflect. But peace to
Yeah,
that
man.
youth, man, and like
Peace
you
and Nigel, man.
definitely,
Yeah, man.
yo,
And
like
definitely
what
like
I
legacy lives on. But just real quickly, another thing that on a positive note, like, I'm getting ready to like, launch this poetry book that I've been like putting together. And it was just funny because like last night I was going through some of the rhymes that I want to have, because I have like a lot of stuff, but some stuff I don't feel I really want to add to this particular project. And I came across some older songs that I even forgot about, and I'm like, oh my god, like these lyrics got to be in there, because it just kind of like ties in and really tells a story of like my foundations, like, some of my thoughts and feelings, that kind of really push forward, like, this whole SFA movement. And some of the dreams that I was like, thinking about are like now like what I'm actually creating. So it's really a story of like the power of like manifestation, and just honest, like, because I think for me, like what hip hop has helped me do is really find ways to be like authentic and honest with myself, because like, you're a creator yourself, right? So when you're writing and stuff, like sometimes you be shocking yourself, you're just like, whoa, like this is like so vulnerable, and like, do I really want to put this out there like that? But like I think that's such a healthy process, and that helps us kind of like experience ourselves like objectively, and then from there we can figure out where we need to go from there. So it's like a great tool, and like it's like an audio diary, so looking back like to like poems and verses that I written like 20 years ago, going back into that mindset, like, and I'm reading some of these rhymes, and I'm like, whoa, it's really bringing me back to those moments. Like I remember what was happening around that time, and certain emotions were coming back, and I'm just like, yo, this is pretty deep. So I'm just like really like brainstorming how I'm going to like really structure this, like release that, and then I may do a couple lives or whatever. But then I also want to do like some commentary stuff, I mean, to really get some context to some of these pieces. And now that I have like, like time, because time, gives us an opportunity to have like deeper understandings of our experiences. It's hard to like articulate what like, to your experiences while you're going through it in the moment. But you fast forward like 5-10 years, you're like, okay, I can see very clearly what this was now, so it's one of those moments. So I'm excited for this, and just another way of putting myself out there. So yeah, man.
that's great, yo. I look forward to seeing that, because
Yeah.
man, I just link with you as a brother on many levels. But when I heard your rhymes, I was like, holy fuck, man, your lyrics are sick as hell, dog. I'm like,
Word,
yo,
respect.
people are sleeping on your rhymes. I
Yeah,
always feel that about my shit, but I'm like, yo, I
indeed.
am not the only one. Your pen game is sick as hell, dog. So I
Appreciate you,
really look
man.
forward to that. Seriously, like you capture so much wisdom, and then your wordplay is sick, and I'm just like, I've never heard it actually stated like that. That's brilliant, and it's just ill black poetry. There's just
There
like
we go,
good
man.
human insight. So I look forward to seeing your book, and
Yeah, man. Appreciate
I
you.
need the inspiration, because damn,
Yeah,
man, just books
let's
are
get it.
it's challenging for me to finish. But really quickly,
Yeah,
you talked about your brother that passed away, and Sandy reminded me of somebody else that passed away, and there was something else
yeah,
that I had in mind, but
yeah.
I wanted to give a quick shout out to Clarence Williams III. which was the black guy who played Prince's father in Purple
Okay.
Rain.
Okay.
And yeah, he passed away yesterday or the day before. He was in the Mod Squad and he was in a couple other things. He's, some people might know him, but yeah, he's just a famous black actor, and he just passed away. So peace to him. And yeah, man, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how many people remember Purple Rain, but yo, his dad was classic in it. It was crazy.
That's it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that, 'cause I was just discussing Purple Rain with a friend not too long ago, and she's like a violinist and works with like an orchestra and whatnot, and she's going to be like putting out I guess like this, I don't know, like orchestrated rendition of like Purple Rain and whatnot. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. I hope I'm not giving no spoilers. I won't mention who she is specifically, but it's just funny that you said that, because I was like, well, I can't wait to hear what this like, is going to sound like, because like she's dope with it. I know all of her musician friends are incredible with it. So any Prince fan, Purple Rain fan, I'm sure is going to appreciate this. So looking forward to that. But that's interesting that you mentioned that, because I was literally just a conversation. So.
That's amazing. Well, everything's connected, whether we see it or not. So that's
Reminisce. Come on, man. This is what we
yeah,
do.
no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. And I don't know barely anything about the situation. I speak with all due respect to everybody, but like I don't know. I just saw that thing about Little Dirk and like how a bunch of homies have been shot up and stuff. I don't know what's going on, but all I know is
Yeah.
young black men dying is just something that I hope
Yeah,
would stop
heard about.
at
So
some
for
point in
those
time.
for those who don't know, like Lil Durk is a hip hop artist rapper from like the Chicago area, and as we know, like Chicago is like well known, for like violence. It's actually like incredible, like and heartbreaking at the same time. Like the amount of like death and murder and the environments that these young black men and individuals have to like go through all the time. You know what I mean? It's like a suicidal lifestyle, like by no short of the imagination. And so Lil Durk, I believe it was like his brother, who was like at like a club or something like that, and was murdered, unfortunately. And it's sad to say, like these are like regular occurrence for these types, these individuals, like so much like trauma and just like people that have gone, and just like the lack of value for life. It's heartbreaking.
It's
There's
so
no.
heartbreaking. It's tragic, and yeah, every word you say is right. And like, I don't know everything about it. I'm not taking sides. I just wish there was some kind of peaceful situation, or just some kind of control and power that both of them could accept. Like you
Yeah,
stay in your area, y'all stay in your area or whatever. And like, I don't know what it is, but I just, it's just tragic to see like
yeah.
17 or 18 or 21-year-old black man get murdered. It's just
It's
really heartbreaking. So
it
hopefully
is
like
like just to
Chicago.
add to that. Yeah, like just to add to that, like when you're saying those ages, I'm thinking to myself like life has just begun. You know what I mean? Like when you're 17, 18, 19, like to me, like you're a baby, yo. Like what I'm saying? Like in the grand scheme of things, like your brain hasn't even fully developed. Like they say, like age of 25 is when your brain is developed. So you're not even in that space of like of like developed like wisdom and just a certain way of like moving through life. So
Mhm.
it really is heartbreaking, because a lot of people, like when they at least get over that hump, that's why in our communities it's such a big deal to make it past 25, and it's sad. But in our communities it's a big deal. It's like, yo, like we made it. It's equivalent to graduation. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you graduated, you made it over, like you got that cap and gown, like, it's like you're almost in the clear, kind of, and it's
Absolutely.
unfortunate that these are like the standards that have been like set on us. But it really is unfortunate. Like these people haven't really had the opportunity to really move into their full potential.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know why, it's so sad what it perpetuates over, and like why the vicious cycle of violence doesn't ever seem to end. But hopefully somebody can just get to a point where maybe everybody can be like, this is exhausting.
Mhm.
Nobody wins. Everybody, it's just like, who is losing more? One person lost three homies and one person lost one homie or two homies, or like,
Yeah.
it's like there's nobody wins it in this. So, the ego is not worth it. Reputations come and go. Like there's always a bigger, tougher killer out there. So like nobody can be like and it's like what is that? Like are you
Yeah,
that's literal you're a serial killer. Like is that what
yeah,
we're trying to be here? Like who killed the most people? Like that's not something you can really take into a future and do too much with, and maybe in the short-sighted vision, you'd be like, all right, I'm like the man in the hood right now. Everyone's afraid of me. But like even being Omar on the Wire, like, or Scarface, like
right.
is that your goal? Is that your goal? And like really, because like you honestly, on a certain level, if you really want to be a gangster, like you should commit suicide before somebody else takes you out. Like that would be the most gangster thing to do, straight up.
For real.
And I never even thought like that. And I don't like to talk about life and death like that. But you'd be like,
Right.
yo, nobody can take me. So I'm the biggest boss in the world. I'm going to take myself out before anyone else does. It's like, yo, that's the
Where,
kind
man,
of, and that's
it,
not really, that's the, like the, a solution that we're hopefully trying to avoid. But, I don't know.
well, I mean, like I said, man, like, all we can do is just lead by example. And, like while we still have the breath of life, man, let's keep, speaking life into existence, through our ways, our actions, everything we're doing, and that's the whole point of, the Reminisce Show, the whole point of Stolen from Africa, everything that you've been doing, Bender, like since I've known you, you know what I mean? Like where we're all about, breathing life into existence and showing support and appreciation, like all of that, so hopefully our messaging and our ways of being are methods of influence, because energy goes where it needs to go. So we're definitely doing that piece, but like moving on to like more positive notes and some more
Yeah, let's
living
lift it up. Yeah,
situations.
we can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, enough said.
no,
Enough said.
it's all good. No, no, no. We this is what we do. We got to check in, and like hip hop culture. This is all connected. But let's talk. The Junos, has come to an end. There is all some, some positivity, like seeing, some winners and whatnot. Like I know that, I guess Afro. I don't know if he's an Afro beast or like a more so like an Afrocentric artist. Toby. I believe that he got like the best rap recording of the year. Which I thought was pretty dope. Up and coming like artist that has really paved his way. And I remember first hearing his music was through like the Rise edutainment movement. Shout out to Randall and all the peoples there out in Scarborough, Malvern, big up, big up. Creating spaces for just young artists to perform, and just seeing him coming, with this like tribal painting and representing, like Africa, the motherland, and connecting, his craft. And so for him to like, get a Junos is a big deal for that. I know that The Weeknd was also another big winner. This year, it seemed like, there was, they were making a sincere effort to represent Black culture, Black music, artists in a way that I haven't like really seen promoted before. It seems like they've maybe revamped some of the people behind the scenes. I know that Dalton Higgins, shout out Dalton, hip hop historian, journalist, like our brother, was involved in some kind of capacity. I actually have a clip that I want to talk about him in a bit. So I'm seeing that there's some sincere efforts, because we know that the Junos was not handling their business when it came to hip hop culture, as we know back in the day with like
For a
Rascals and a lot
long
of
time.
artists that have literally
Shout out the
boycotted.
Rascals.
Shout out the Rascals, man. You know what I'm saying? Like who was just like, nah, like we
Yeah,
value
fund that.
ourselves.
Advertise us, broadcast us. You ain't gonna like have the hip hop awards not be broadcast. What the blood clot you talking about?
Yeah. So now they're doing the right thing, because at the end of the day, when we're talking about building up the Canadian scene, the industry and whatnot, like let's do that for real. And it just seems like a very simple, logical process. It seems like sometimes the industry misses its mark, and we'll get more into that, the industry like missing its mark though. But I don't know, did you check out any of the Junos or anything like that, or you peep any?
I didn't see any of the awards. I just saw some of the. I mean, I didn't see any of the show. I just saw what the
Yeah,
awards were, and I was happy that the Weeknd won, even though like I didn't really like that Weeknd album, and like I really don't rate trophies as like the measurement of what greatness is, because
right.
there's so many great albums that never ever get trophies. Like You know, Biggie Smalls, Bob Marley, and Jimi
Right,
Hendrix never won a Grammy. So it's like,
right,
what are the Grammy? Like, come on, we know that
right,
these are,
right.
but at the same time, like, I do understand there has to be some kind of acknowledgement of your peers and stuff, that like there is a bit of value in that. So I'm glad. I do want to say I'm glad that the Junos honored the weekend, because like the Grammys were so stupid and political to be like, we're gonna have our dumb reason not to give the weekend the album of the year, even though it was obvious the biggest thing
Yeah,
that happened during the whole pandemic.
right.
And
Nominated
so
in
yeah,
every like
like,
category.
eh?
No, he was like nominated in like every category too. On top of that, like,
Right. Like it's he like he had a bigger song, like the Flashing Lights or whatever is like one of the biggest songs in the last 25 years of human existence, and the Grammys are like, well, that we're not going to even acknowledge it. And it's like that's just corrupt. So shout out to the Junos for the weekend. And like, I guess Justin Bieber performed for the first time in 10 years,
okay, that's what's up.
and I think they did a little like a big up to Mishi Me and Maestro, even if I
Right,
saw
right,
it correctly.
exactly.
So
Yeah, and they're doing the right thing, and we need to see like more of that. Like these are like foundations. Like hip hop pioneers here in Canada, and that needs to be amplified way more than what it is. Like that needs to be out there. So big up to the Junos for making their effort. We appreciate that the evolution, and then also having the right individuals part of the movement. Because that's what's really needed.
yeah,
But moving forward in the context of like industry and doing the right thing. Shout out to Drake and Live Nation, man. Looks like they are going to be putting out a venue, a concert venue in the beaches area, which I think is a pretty cool. That's a nice little tucked away like area to bring some energy, some vibes to, and
it's
especially
really
with, like,
interesting, very interesting.
it's an interesting
Yeah,
area, like because I mean I don't think there is any. I mean there's probably like smaller like pubs and things of that nature, but I mean, it's interesting. I'm curious to see like what it's going to look like, where it is specifically, and what have you. But like during the pandemic, as we know that several venues have closed down, like like Mod Club, what was a classic one, for example, and some of the others, and like these are the spaces where you're all good there.
yeah.
These are the spaces where artists get their big break and their start. These are the foundations, that create, and cultivate like our industry, our culture, like our community, and now they're slowly withering away. When I think of like Comfort Zone, like Reverb, Cool House, like all these spaces that I remember, legendary concerts and shows that are, part of my hip hop experience, don't even exist anymore. They're replaced
Don't
by
even exist.
like literally. So,
Yeah, yeah, like
you know what I
yeah.
mean? So to hear about this, I'm like, okay, but like I know before we were discussing, some thoughts and feelings about this venue and expectations or whatever. So like, I don't know what do you think about this venue, and what should be considered moving forward?
Well, I did a little bit of research on it, and I found a little more information. So
Okay.
apparently it's at Queen and Coxwell. Um,
Okay. So that's like Woodbine Park then, like right by like Woodbine Park or whatever.
yeah, yeah, it's in the
Okay.
beaches near
Yeah.
Woodbine Park. It's a 2,500 capacity venue. So just like we were saying, it is just like what we like when we showed that the J. Cole footage and Drake footage last year, and
Right.
like I saw a picture of it, and the venue looks exactly like Rebel and Sound Academy. Like
Okay.
it looks exactly like that, except it has a curved balcony instead of a square balcony.
Right.
And
Right. So
and
that's
it's
how it's
like,
set up. Okay.
yeah, and and that venue was like 2,000 to 3,000,
Right.
depending on if you use the back rooms or not. So, and
Right. Right.
Drake had, when Drake came home from, I will never forget this show, the first So Far Gone show,
I was
when
there. Yeah.
Drake,
We got
yeah,
that
when he did
footage.
the
Yeah.
tour and came back home, like that was an epic nuclear explosion of a concert,
It was.
absolutely.
It
And
was.
like, the intensity in there is bigger than some huge venue ACC shows I've seen. So like,
Indeed.
for
Indeed.
him to be like, yo, I want to recreate. I thought that what he said was interesting about it. He was like, some of my most memorable shows were playing smaller rooms. So I wanted to take those memories and what I learned to create an incredible experience for artists and fans. So like, yeah, like it's not, I've seen Drake. I've seen 6 of the 9 OVO shows. So, and I've seen it when I've seen him at the ACC a couple times,
Yeah.
and there's a disconnect. Like when
Right.
it's that
There is.
big, there's a certain disconnect. But when it's like the size of, they said Cool House and
Right.
well, yeah, there was like a parallel to Cool House, but Cool
Okay.
House and
Okay.
Rebel Sound Academy is like
Right. Right.
that mid sweet spot. So
Right.
yeah, like I definitely want to check it out. Like I gotta be front row up in some mother. I gotta be, I'm like, yo, son, Drake, I've been, so yeah,
We'll get at some of my
yeah,
OVO
we'll
folks, man.
see,
You know.
and they, say that again.
No, I was gonna say, man, I got to reach out to some of my OVO peeps, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a holler at them, yo, straight up. I'll be
Yeah,
like, you
no,
guys, you know,
they gotta get
let's make
some
this
Reminisce
happen, man.
Show repping in there, and
I mean, the
yeah,
venue's
I mean,
called history. The
the one
venue's
last
called
thing.
history, man.
Yeah, it's called History, so that's cool. Hopefully, it'll make that a lot of history. But the last thing is, it says that they want to do upwards of 200 shows in a year, which would be great. Like, it obviously, hopefully, it just won't be like a OVO strictly thing, and
Right.
it'll just be a concert venue for the community to use. That would be phenomenal. So
Yeah, that's
shout
something
out to
that
Drake for doing that. Big up.
Yeah, that's something that we were talking about, because like this could be an opportunity for like an artist hub or something, or maybe they can put on like mini festivals that's like more focused on like local talents and whatnot. Doesn't necessarily have to be hip hop, but just to really like bring out this like culture and this space within the city. I think like it would be a very wise choice for them to do that, and yeah, like I can really see this being like a hub. Hopefully it doesn't become this like exclusive club where only certain artists get to like be part of that movement, and it's really just like again like for the culture, taking care of each other, and building up like the capacity within the city to kind of compensate for all the venues that have been closed. So this is a very, very big opportunity, and I hope they do that. Like like they have OVO, they got some really smart people on the team, and I feel like this is a conversation. I don't see why not, but it would hurt to see them miss the ball, just like how Rap City missed the ball or dropped the ball.
Yes, like we were talking about. Yeah, absolutely. Because Rap City had something special there when they were revamped and they brought T-Rex in as a host, and man, they had something really dope going on. I went to 25 of those episodes, man, and I don't know why they stopped doing it. It was wonderful. It was.
Yeah,
I
I
remember
was
seeing.
actually.
Yeah.
Yo, I was actually gonna play like a quick clip, man. I got one where like Raekwon the Chef, Wu-Tang Forever was performing, at Rap City. I'm looking at the date right now. It says February 24th, 2011. So as you know, man, Storm from Africa, we stay with the archives, Reminisce Show all day. Let me just play this real quick, just so y'all can really catch a vibe. And like this really had the potential to be something much greater. Like imagine if this vibe continued to this day, like what that would have meant for culture, for the people, and just like the industry, because the energy, like the people were ready for this. We really wanted this to happen, and then somehow it was just like womp womp. But anyways, man, let's take this in for a little bit, man. Let me see what up.
Yeah. Yeah. Keeping up white boys on ball courts. Let it. Is that me? Yeah, that's me. That's my jacket. I missed that jacket. Oh, that is me.
Of course, man. Bender in the mix. It's crazy how many shows that we just naturally been at, and we're always like in the close proximity to each other. So big up to you and your Wu-Tang hands.
Yes, forever.
But again, just going back to like where industry just kind of like dropped the ball on like preserving culture and just creating something really special. Like this, like continue. Like this could have been really something crazy, man. I really feel so. This is something that we need to see. That energy just can't be remade. And I don't know, like that this is a really special time because there was nothing like that happened at that moment. We had Rap City before, and that kind of fell off, and this was like the revamp of it, and we were hungry for it. We really wanted this to work, and womp womp.
Yeah, like City TV. I mean, well, the Much Music building, they just dropped the ball. They just shattered it on the floor. They didn't realize what a good thing they had, and then they just let it go. They had it going. It had momentum. There was no reason for it. Wasn't like people weren't tuning in. It was rammed, yo.
Yeah,
they had enough MCs there. There was Raekwon there. There was Cardi was there. They had Onyx there at one point. Like they had people coming through, and you saw people in the audience. It wasn't like it was dry. There was always a lineup, and they had questions, they had hosts, they had things. It's not like hip hop wasn't popular. They had zero reason to let it go. Much Music just fucked up and just didn't care about black culture in Canada. So
man, they even had like the freestyle battles and whatnot, where like just up and coming artists can just do their thing. It was such a vibe, like, and again, like the city was so vibrant at that time. Like it was, it was the first time where we probably had this conversation back then too. The first time when I was like, yo, like the Screwface capital is like gone now. Like it's not Screwface anymore. Like, like this is a time when we're actually all like coming together, just like how Atlanta did, just like how like the West Coast and New York or whatever. It's like, this is our time to like unite the North and we got a shot, so let's all behave ourselves and try to support each other. I mean, that, at least that's what it felt like, that moment in time, what I mean? So, but
yeah, it was happening. You're right. We were doing that. And there was just no logical reason why the cord got cut. It was just like, it seemed like it was, I mean, I know there was a time where they just flushed out most of the black people in that building and a lot of the hip hop people, whether it was black or not. So yeah, it was just like, yo, you're part of the hip hop culture. We're kind of moving on. We just want to use like do pop youth culture, and like, we don't want to do like hardcore boom bap or like Toronto hip hop or like black people on certain levels, unless they're just like, except for the most popular ones. So, I mean, they just lost that. And I walk by there almost every day of my life because I live a block away from there. And it's just irrelevant. The building is irrelevant to the modern culture. And that place used to be the epicenter of so much in Canada. I'm not going to say everything. It wasn't like everything wasn't centered around Much Music, but come on. That used to be so relevant to Canadian music culture and business and community and history and everything.
Oh my gosh.
Independently and professionally.
Like when I think of like the Much Music building itself, like there were so much things that were so advanced, like for one, like that's where we hung out and sold our CDs, like, what I mean? Right at Queen and John, like all day, every day, because we knew that people like, in the industry, music related and just open-minded people in general were there to support and, buy music. Also stuff like, like Speaker's Corner. Like Speaker's Corner is literally like what we have now as social media. Like that was way before social media even popped off. You know what I mean? Like where people can just like say whatever's on their mind and that gets broadcasted out in the world. And, like people would do jokes. Some people would have like some really like, tight social commentary thing. And then there were certain regulars that would always come on and, it was well advanced. Like I said, like that building was just doing a lot of things that were just not like, again, super futuristic, So it's interesting.
You're
It's interesting to think about it.
you're so right, man. I remember I was on it at least twice, and the rush that I felt, I'm like, oh my god, they broadcasted my ass talking some shit on Speaker's Corner. It was phenomenal, and you're absolutely right. It was the OG social media. It was before the internet, and the loss that the community has had from that is incalculable. Like we can't,
Yeah,
we have internet options, but it's just not the same. It really isn't.
yeah,
And there's benefits and drawbacks from each. Obviously, back then you had to watch the show to see it, and they would only play it once. So it's like, okay,
right.
whatever. But at the same time, it was street journalism. It was it
There we
was it
go.
was, it was connected to the people. It was like, yo, it was
Yes.
real. It was like, yo, it was like, remember that they spent the money on charity. It's like you put in a
Right.
dollar to do it, and it was like, yo, man,
Right.
it was so
Right.
good. It was so good, and it was like I remember, if I remember correctly, it was like 30 minutes on Friday nights and Saturday
Right.
nights. It might get replayed, and it was just like luck of the draw. They were
Yeah.
just like going to pick a bunch
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
people and just show their thoughts. It was so random and good, healthy.
It's healthy in a way because that's how you create community. You empower voice and you just keep people connected because again your video may get played or may not, but like I would watch it. Like I've never went on Speaker's Corner, you know what I mean? Not that I remember, like I don't think I did, but I still watched like those episodes and I just enjoyed seeing these random people because for someone like myself at the time, like I'd be like, whoa, these people are brave. They have so much confidence, to say whatever, even if they're singing and it's like totally off key, but like they don't care, you know what I mean? Or they're frustrated about something that they want to rant about something, and I'm like, okay, like
Beer rants, man. Right?
right?
Yo, Bun. But yeah, man, for real.
I got something to say.
Bun
So,
Dalton McGinty, yo, for real.
really
Yo,
though,
Yo, Bun Bob Ray, like, yo, pure Canadian pop. Yo, I actually just clicked up on here really quick. It looks like, yeah, you can find Speaker's Corner clips on YouTube, which is good. And
reminisce.
and I see here it says Will Ferrell and Mike Myers visit Speaker's Corner. Bare Naked Ladies, Madonna, Weird Al visit
Hey, come
Speaker's
on.
Corner. It's like, yo, when are you gonna have Madonna and Weird Al just talking out of their mind and just like chatting with the people in the same little seat that fucking your next door neighbor sat in? Like, that's come
Hey
on, man.
man.
It's just like,
Well,
yo, why and how would you get rid of such a creative tradition, much music? Where is the logic in removing that? Like, there is no logic. You just like gave up on a great idea you had
I
and
just
just
think it's
for what?
just
Money?
it's just a bunch of people, you know what I mean, in boardrooms that are disconnected from like what's happening on the ground. I feel like every industry falls victim to that like type of scenarios and programming. They're just disconnected. It's like, why would you do this? Like why? Like the
Yeah,
money's
for
over
real.
here, and it's like, no, it's not about the money. Like that, like this right now, that is the money. You're talking about currency, you're talking about energy. Like money's a byproduct of all of that. You know what I mean? Like you can't put a price on that, of that loyalty and that energy and that community connection, So
You're
but
you're
anyway,
you're exactly right, because they're like, yo, we got half an hour of programming of Speaker's Corner. It's like we could sell that half an hour of time to
there we
McDonald's,
go.
Starbucks, and Nike. So like, yeah, let's just cut that little
Yeah,
program because
yeah,
it's not essential. And it's like,
yeah.
yo, do you know you just connecting, you literally are burning the bridges to the people, and now your entire building and your organization and what you broadcast has no ground connection to the human beings you're
Yeah.
trying to actually link with. So like,
Like,
where are you going? You're going backwards. You're going blindly going
you
backwards.
know, just to go off on Speaker's Corner for a little bit more, man, because like I'm just like, imagine if it continued throughout like the social media era, because Speaker's Corner could have been like the YouTube or whatever, like that could have been its own like channel, whatever. And then even right now to like bring back some of these old people's, like, I mean, like you said, like Madonna, Bare Naked Ladies or whatever, and then to have this reminisce type of vibe or whatever, like there's a lot they could. A bunch of music, y'all like listening, man. Like you still have a chance. There's still ways to bring it back, man. You,
You
but
still have a chance of real. I tried to put that out there. Like I tried to, be the Black George Strombolopoulos. I definitely, I rapped about it. I applied for Rap City a couple times. I put in a huge petition. I interviewed Double Soul and Eternia and stuff, but it never happened. And part of
It's
me,
okay though,
part of
man.
it was because I wasn't aggressive and cutthroat enough to get on as a TV personality, and yeah, part
But
of it
guess
was
what, man?
just because like politics, and I know that they just wanted a talking head in there. They didn't want somebody with all these political ideas to be like, yo, let's fucking make sure that we show the coup and Public Enemy and like,
Yeah,
we gotta have Dead Prez. I'd be like, let's bring Dead
yeah,
Prez on here, and they'd be like, nah, let's not bring Dead Prez. Let's bring on Fabulous, and it's like, yo, but
right,
like, yo, we need to
right,
do a,
right.
we need to do a so like I understand reasons why my politics weren't, but I mean at the same time, with the politics or not, I still loved much music. I can criticize them
Yeah,
and still be like,
yeah.
yo, I just wanted you to serve the community, the entire community, not just like young rich
That's
white
it.
kids or just not one little demographic. Serve us all. It's music. That's what
Indeed,
the
man.
fuck this is.
Come
So,
on,
but
man.
yo,
But
we're very,
that's why
very, very, very.
no, I was gonna
What?
say like
Sorry.
that's why we create our own lanes. That's like the hip hop thing to do. They close this one door. All right, cool, man. We'll build a door. We'll build a
Yeah.
house. You know what I mean? We'll
Yeah.
build what we need. And so it always births like new opportunities. So anytime there's an obstacle, like it's an opportunity to create something new. And
Yeah.
that's the hip hop way, man. So that's what we doing.
You're right. You're right. I want to give a quick shout out to our people in the comment section. Yo, my boy
Big up,
Kwame.
big up. Jeez.
Kwame
We
already
have
knows the
Kwame
deal.
Solid. Yeah.
Kwame, the realness, and Colleen, yo, you know it. Yo, thank you for being. Happy birthday, Colleen, in January when you turn 60. I know it's a little while from now, but yo,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
glad
big up.
we're glad we got good people like you and Sandy and just the various people that support, whether you support
Yeah.
silently or watching. I don't know if Kamal's watching, Righteous, whatever, but
Shout out
it's all
Righteous,
good.
man. He said peace, man. Peace to Righteous.
Peace to Righteous every time. Yo, Righteous, we're going to have DJ X next week. We are going to, I let the cat out the bag. Meow. And DJ
Yeah.
X, the one and only, the OG from Fantastic Voyage. And yeah, it's going to be great. DJ X
Why
is
don't you
going to
give
be in the
a
building
little
next week.
more? You know what I mean? As we wrap up, give a little more about DJS so people can know what to expect, and just like just a little splash of the history, a little splash.
Yeah, DJ X was gifted of Toronto. He was gifted the mantle of Toronto's OG hip hop radio show on Saturdays, The Power Move, but he got it from Ron Nelson. And yeah, just the greatest, pretty much greatest college radio hip hop show of all time was. Mad shout out to CIUT and CHRY, Master Plan Show, and all the other shows were great. But like, it's just that the Power Move was on a special time. It was 1 to 4 on Saturday afternoon, so it was like it had the golden spot, and it was just OG. So he had Mishi Me on there. I even remember seeing Russell Peters DJ on there a little bit. So there was a lot of history that went through there. If you look online, you can see a little clip of Mos Def freestyling when he was like 19 or some shit. He even went lots of history in Power Move. So we're gonna get into it with DJ X next week. Bring your questions, tell your people, and yeah, man, it's gonna be more Toronto history.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I got a flyer. Pretty good moment. The big homie, my favorite DJ in the world, Scratch Bastard, brought Maceo.
Jeez.
Yeah, this was at Revival, but actually, I've seen multiple times of both of these guys together, but this was at Revival. It was nuts.
Yeah.
But
What's up? All right.
Scratch Bastard, big up. So good times.
All right, man. So that's what's up, man. So we're going to continue this next week, man, steadily bringing some vibes, man, reminiscing, man, connecting the past, present to the future, man. That fifth dimension vibes. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to keep elevating, keep the energy circulating. That's what's up, man. Always,
No doubt.
man. So that's what it is,
Peace
man.
to you. Yep. Peace to you and your people and your family. Yo, thank you everybody who tunes into the show. Spread the word. I hope you have a wonderful week. And yeah, Righteous, bring that history next week, please, man. Like, I know you know things and remember things that that I don't remember. And yo, thank you to everybody who reminisces with us, because we ain't nothing without you, man. Thank you very much.
Gee,
We're gonna
man.
connect all of
Hey
our
yo,
hearts.
we might even have to like bring Righteous to be part of that conversation, man. So you know what I'm saying? Like, definitely, man. Big up,
Yo,
big up, big
Righteous, that would be great. But
up.
yeah, yo,
All
Logic,
right.
thank you for everything. Thanks for
Always, man.
just being the OG homie. And
So we
yeah,
gotta do it.
yeah.
You reminisce, man. All right, man. We see y'all next week, man. Reminisce 7 p.m. every Tuesday, man. That's how we do it all day, man.